Hi, I'm Catherine Llewellyn, the host of the podcast. You can find out all about Truth and Transcendence on truthandtranscendence.com. And you can find out all about me on beingspace.world, where you will find my online coaching offering, as well as my UK-based workshops. The Freedom of Spirit workshop for liberation and empowerment, the Pellower Radical Shift in Consciousness workshop for spiritual expansion, and transformational coaching for exploring the mind-body-spirit connection on the expansive path. You can also support the podcast by actually making a donation. I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to Truth and Transcendence. You can find all our episodes on truthandtranscendence.com. So today I'm delighted to welcome special guest Alain Salas, who's here today to talk about many things, but one of which is you are so powerful. And I actually think this is a very important theme because I don't know about you, but in my upbringing, we were encouraged to not be powerful, or if we felt powerful, not say anything about it because that was rude. So I'm delighted to talk about this in a very open way. Dr. Salas helps lay people, coaches, and health professionals break the cycle of their limiting beliefs so they can achieve vibrant health, harmonious relationships, and sought-after prosperity. Yes, please, to all of that. So you can find Alain at themindclearing.com, themindclearing.com, and that will be in the show notes. So Alain, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, bonjour, my pleasure, Catherine. I'm really excited to have a chat with you. Let's do that and let's see where we're going with this.
Fantastic. Allons-y. So,
Allons-y.
I think that's the extent of my French.
By the way, I really appreciate you saying my name correctly because I'm telling you, in America, it's not happening. I gave up, but so I really appreciate that you had a perfect French accent, by the way.
Oh, bless you. That's so kind. Excellent. I like you already. So I actually have a bias. I think it's like a very minimal level of courtesy to call somebody the name they wish to be called. I think that's just something I like to do. I like it when people call me by my name, my actual name. I just think it's one of my not exactly a value, but a little standard of performance, I think, that I think is just not a lot to ask. So anyone listening who goes around shortening all your friends' names without their permission, stop it at once.
Don't.
So this theme of you are so powerful, which I love, which I know you're very connected with. If you think back in your life, Alain, can you remember when you first kind of got hold of that expression, you are so powerful, when that kind of crystallized for you as an important notion?
Well, it's like, I was raised with a dad that was very authoritarian, right? And so in order to express myself, it was not that easy, right? And also it was very negative, right? So I remember like the first time that I just said something to resolve a problem, right? And they all look at me like shocked because it was such a brilliant idea. And that's what makes me realize, say, hold on, I've got my place in this world. And I guess my voice counts, right? And that's really, truly, I was probably maybe 10 years old, 11 years old. And that's really when I realized, oh, okay, I guess I've got something to say and people will listen.
How fantastic to have that experience at the age of 10. I think that's probably quite rare. Do you think that's rare?
I have no idea. I don't know. But my dad was so oppressive, and controlling that, that's probably what this brought up, that was positive aspect that he brought up into my life, right? Showing me actually what not to do, which is very valuable.
Yeah, well, it's valuable, but not all of us understand it at the age of 10. And not all of us realize it until after we're in our 40s and we've had 5 years of therapy, where we realize we have gratitude to the parent who did the behavior that wasn't very helpful. So was it him who would recognize what you were saying and value it, or was it other people?
Um, um, Him and other people. Like there was like my aunt, my mom, and him, and yeah, those three people recognized it.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm delighted. Isn't that great to have that experience? I think I definitely had an experience when I was 10, when I was very young, of people welcomed it if I expressed an idea I'd come up with. So I can kind of resonate with what you're saying. It's a very good foundation in life, isn't it? I mean, when you're working with people now, do you find that you're working with people who have had experiences like that? Do your clients talk to you about their early upbringing and how that affected them?
Well, yes, sometimes we do, but it's not necessary. I told them, but yes, sometimes we have to. But I have to say, they usually trust me. Maybe that's why, because they know my heart is in the right place. I'm really here to help. If I have to be upside down for an hour in order to help you, I'll do it.
Right, right. Excellent. So
So
I
I
mean,
think they can see that, right?
why do you think they trust you so readily?
Because I think my intention, which is my heart, like why I'm doing things, like maybe we're gonna talk about that, are coming from a pure place. It's really truly about helping people first.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's my intention. That's why I do what I do.
Right, right. And how that's very interesting. And does that link to the notion about you are so powerful? What's the connection between that intention and your
Well,
connection?
yeah, well, your mission in life, right? I mean, for me, it has been given, right? So when you know your mission in life, it just, of course, you just empowered right away because you say, "Oh, I know why I'm here on Earth, and what I'm supposed to do." So that's just a blessing, such a gift that has been given to me when I was living on my boat in my sailing boat in south of France. I saw myself helping people, right? And so that's how everything started.
Ah, how wonderful. So do you think there's a connection between you being valued for what you had to say at the age of 10 and you connecting with this idea, you are so powerful?
Yeah, I never thought about that, but yes, I think it's always, sometimes I go to on podcast and they ask me what is the haha moment and things like that. For sure, there's some haha moment or turning point, right? But there's always a build-up, right? I think that in life, if I can reflect now, there's always a build-up and step and the challenges that have been there to forge you the way you are, and because to forge you in a way that you can do what I can, that I can do now, what I can do, right? With all the ups and downs that have been in my life, that's what allowed me to be a better human being, right? And to be more understanding on others and what the need are and what the possibility are, which is of course limitless.
Yeah, yeah. Beautiful. I think that's a very important point about the build up because often we go through life um, looking for that epiphany moment or looking for that bliss moment or that liberation moment as if it's going to come from nowhere. But it doesn't. It reminds me of people used to talk about film stars and music stars, rock stars and people go, oh, they got discovered and they were an overnight sensation. Well, before that overnight sensation, they spent 20 years practicing for 5 hours a day until it happened.
Yeah, it's a journey, right? Life is a journey, right? And so, of course, you're gonna have those epiphany moment. You're gonna have all that. But when you are more like conscious about what's going on in your life and what has been going on in your life, and you allow yourself to reflect, you can literally see that, right? You can see the build up. You can understand why I had a dad like this when my mom was that way, right? And also you can understand, why I divorced that woman, right? And what's the gift in it, right? So I think true understanding come with forgiveness, because if you don't if you say, "Oh, I understand," but you don't forgive or don't understand why this happened to you, that's you cannot understand because you don't comprehend, the why. The why is from the heart. The why is what, why are you doing this? Why this is happening? The why is the most important question ever in my life for me. The
Okay,
why
well,
is where everything.
I have to ask you then, what is your why?
About what?
About your life.
Oh, I was like bioengineering, no, bioengineer to become a healer, right? I mean, that's really, no, I'm kidding, of course. Yeah, but I was designed to become a healer. I always knew, like, through healing myself and helping my patient, right, or my loved one, it's such a motivation because it's not only about yourself and transforming yourself, because what you learn as healing yourself, right, you can translate that into your patient and help them even further more. So that's very empowering when it's not in a way, it's not I don't think it's a selfish way, but more self-centered way, when you say, "Oh, I want to heal and grow." For me, has never been that, because I always knew that was for the common good.
Mm. Great. So that's been like a strong contextual presence in your life that's kind of guided you in what you've chosen then to do. So would you like to tell us a bit more about your path to where you are now and doing what you're doing now, and perhaps tell us a little bit about how you are helping people now?
Well, my path, I used to live in, like I say, in south of France on my sailing boat, and I used to rent boats. So I used to party all the time. I was single, and so, yeah, lots of fun, right? And during, like, the winter time in south of France, well, I was either, at the beginning of the winter sailing, or I will buy a airfare ticket for the South Hemisphere. So I was kind of a sun chaser, right? I didn't know what winter, literally, snow, what's this? I forgot. So that was a fun life. And again, I saw myself as, helping people. And I said, "Well, this is coming from, this is crazy." But I knew it. I knew, like, deep in my soul, that was very important for me to at least try, right? So I talked to some of my clients, because in my family there was nobody in the healing or medical doctor, nurses, no, nobody was in the healthcare system. So I started to talk to that guy. He said, "You know what? I've got a Chinese doctor. He's going to come just for the weekend, and maybe you should talk to him." I said, "Heck yes, I want to talk to him." So did I. And so he told me, "You know what? There's 3 books I want you to read. And after, when you're done with the season, right, you just come, I give you a treatment, we'll talk." Sure enough, at the end of the season, I went down to Lyon and talked to the guy, right? And so read the book, of course. And asked about Chinese medicine. And he told me, "Well, if you want to do like me and really know what you're doing, you need to go to China, be fluent in Chinese, learn the ancient texts." And I asked him, "How long is it going to take?" 10 years. They're all done. I was 30 years old at that time. I wanted to practice one day, right? So I say, I think it's a little bit too long for me. I love to travel, don't get me wrong, but and he looked at me and said, "You look strong, so why not chiropractic?" I said, "What's that?" So he gave me all the information, for chiropractic college. I got the information, got translated by my best friend, that she was an English teacher, right? And what the things that stood out was what they call the innate intelligence. The innate intelligence, your ability to heal yourself. And I thought that was fascinating to me. So sure enough, I bought an airfare ticket, the next year, went to South Carolina, and of course a French woman welcomed me there and gave me my first treatment. And that was the end of it. I sold my boat business. And I told my parents, so I mean, you have to picture that. They used to call me the gypsy. So I had long hair, earring, drunk every night. Anyway, and I told my parents, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to America to become a doctor." Yes, that's what happened. They laugh, but they didn't know how important it was for me. How lucky I was because my mission in life has been given to me out of the blue, really. And so they died 3 years later. I graduated, and I met that French woman, of course, in a bar in Kansas City. We got married later on, and we had a daughter. Her name is Maya. Right? And everything was doing good. But when I was treating people, they will get better, but after they will plateau rather quickly. And in order to maintain, the result, they still have to come to see me. So that didn't fit well with my philosophy, right? Because I know one thing's 200%, Catherine. I know this for sure. If you got a problem in life, it can be a health problem, it can be a prosperity problem, it can be a relationship problem, right? In order to resolve permanently, meaning the problem, we're done with it, we don't even think about it, we're moving on, right? So you need to know two things. First, what's causing the problem, and number two, how to fix it. If you know what's causing the problem, how to fix it, no more problem. So I say, okay, that's not working here, right? That concept is not working. So what happened? Started to investigate and investigate about what we call the inflammation of the body, right? The chemical stress. And basically what happened, I just, I will scan your body, and your body will tell me, which organ are under stress, what's causing the stress, if you do have food sensitivity. So I don't need for tests. I just, your body is telling me, right? We are so powerful again. So if you can read the body, it will tell you a lot. And so basically I will tell them, what style changes, things like that. And I made a big practice out of that. I had like 250 patient visit a week, right? And so I had 4 employees that I taught how to do some stuff to help me. And the American dream, I was living it with him. That's it, big house, best neighborhood, all that things. And usually when, things are going, you think you got it, right? Well, I got it in life, man. This is it. Well, things happen. And so, I was so focused on working because I thought I was doing the right thing, right? I was doing what I was supposed to do, but there was no balance, I mean, so when I was coming home to my wife and even kid, I hate to say that, but that's the truth. I was like there, but not present, right? And so my relationship went down the drain pretty quickly. And after what happened, it's like I felt depressed. I start to lose my juice for what I love to do in life. So I certainly was burned out. And within a year, what happened is like I divorced. Okay, number one. Number two, of course, because my mind was such a mess. So I went from having a very good practice, right, to thriving, to failing. And the second thing, I got diagnosed with early stage of colon cancer. So imagine that, I will tell you what to do to prevent cancer, right? And I got it. So I had to reevaluate everything in my life and find out what's inside of me that pushing me to sabotage my health, my relationship, and prosperity.
Wow. I'm not going to ask you to reveal what it was you found inside yourself because that's your own personal journey.
Oh,
But did that did that
you can ask me.
go on then? What was it that was causing you to sabotage?
Well, I found it was my mind. When we say you're out of your mind, first of all, when we talk about mind, we have to make sure that we know what we're talking about, right? Because when we think of mind, usually we think about our self-identity, which is, it's kind of, just to explain it the best way that I can, it's like we're living in two different worlds that are separate in the same time. So what do I mean by that? Well, basically, we've got the outer world, right? Which is our conscious mind. And after, we've got the inner world, which is I'm going to call it the subconscious mind. So what is your conscious mind? Well, it's what you're aware of, right? It's your self-identity, your personality, your thought, emotion, behavior, action, what you think you can do, what you think you cannot do. I mean, it's how you perceive your reality, right? So that's basically your conscious mind, right? And after the subconscious mind, that's the mysterious mind. That's the mind that what the heck is going on there. And so basically that subconscious mind, there's different role, but one of the role is just to record everything you have been doing in your life, Catherine, from age 0 to now. Also, the skill as a woman, as a podcaster, are stored in the subconscious mind, right? All the things, all of the automatic system in your body that function without you thinking about it, like your heartbeat, your breathing, and so many other functions, are stored in the subconscious mind. And so, entering the subconscious mind and say, what's that? So I started to dig a little bit, but you don't have to dig a lot. You just can Google that stuff, right? And so I started to find out two things that are really important. And those two things, especially the second things, it's going to make you maybe redefine the way you see yourself, the way who you think you are. Because what we have been told we are not. I guarantee you that. So, for example, the conscious mind processes data at 11 bits per second. The subconscious mind processes data at 11 million bits per second, meaning it's 1 million times more powerful. So that started to get my attention, Catherine. I say, what? That stuff that we don't know what's going on is like already so important, right? In my eyes. So the second thing is like, if your audience, guys, if you are standing up, please sit down. If you are sitting down, buckle up. Because what I'm going to tell you is going to blow literally your mind, because it did blow my mind. So here's what it is. According to who you're reading, your conscious mind, it's only 5% of your mind. Meaning the subconscious mind is 90 to 95% of your mind. Meaning when we are talking about you focusing on transformation, growth, and healing, we use only 5 or 10% of mind power. So I thought, hey, let's bring the subconscious mind to the party, right? And that's how everything started.
I love it. Let's bring the subconscious mind to the party. That's a great way of putting it. That's a lot more fun than let me try to understand how to do meditation and let me try to, let's bring the subconscious mind to the party. So do you feel like a lot of this incredible power that we have is actually in the subconscious?
That's why it was so powerful, because it's always there. Yeah. Because let me explain to you. Let me give you an example. Because the thing that is so important, I appreciate your question. Very good question, Maro. The thing that is so important, it's like we are programmable. What do you mean? Me, I can be programmed? Yes, you bet. Since as a fetus, you have been programmed, by the experience you had for your mom. So what do I mean by this? Well, let me give you an example, because an example is what it's people will understand better, right? So first of all, from age 0 to 6 to 7 to 8 years old, depending on you are reading, you're more like a sponge, right? So you just collect everything. You assume that everything's happening in the outside world is for your own good, right? And so if you've got an assumption and you repeat the assumption again and again, it becomes a program. So that's one way we can get programmed, okay? So let me give you an example. Let's pretend there's a little girl, right? Let's see her dad that is an alcoholic. He's drunk every night, coming back home, beat up his wife. So what do you think that little girl is going to attract as a romantic relationship later on in life?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I would have thought something similar to what her father used to do.
Yes, an abusive relationship. Like probably 80% of the population will agree with us. But now I want you guys to notice different things, right? First things, if I ask that woman now, right? She's in an abusive relationship. I say, hey, do you enjoy to get beat up like your mom? She's going to say, heck no, right? So the conscious mind is going to say no. But the subconscious mind has been programmed as men are predators and women are prey, right? So now to answer your question, how she's going to attract that guy. She's going to say, hey, you, come here, shake his hand and say, do you want to beat me up? Can we tango together? So obviously it's not going to happen that way. So it's kind of our subconscious mind are connected. You know, when we say we are all one, that's the way we are connected. Doesn't mean that you have to love everybody, right? Doesn't mean that everybody loves you. No. It's like we are connected. And what's going to happen, there's that guy's going to show up in her life, right? And that guy's going to have the predator program. And the subconscious mind can read each other. And so that guy has been probably has been bullied when he was a young guy, right? And now he bullied other people, right? And so he's going to say, interesting woman, right? Because she's a prey, right? And it's some kind of go like that. It's kind of whispered, say, hey, you need to fall in love with this guy, right? It's going to be all what you have been waiting for, right? And so we're going to pair up the polarity, right, of the predator and the prey. We're going to bring them together. They're going to fall in love. And this is it. That's how they're attracted. So now there's 3 different case scenarios because I want people to understand how powerful those programs are. Case scenario number 1, she married a guy and she's stuck with in this abusive relationship for the rest of her life. Number 1. Case scenario number 2, she go with a guy and after say, no, it's too much. I'm getting beat up. So and find another one. And there's 2 possibilities that I've seen mainly talking to those women. The first one, she said, hey, Dr. Salas, I'm done with men. Don't talk to me about men. I'm done. They are not good for me. Yeah, it's kind of like there's a fire and you touch the fire, you get burned once, twice, and after you say, well done, I'm done with this. It really hurts. I'm done. Or because we can heal through life experiences. And so what happened, the perfect healing will be, she's going to attract a totally different man, a man that is kind, nurturing, see her as an equal, right? All that opposite of an abused man for sure. And that's how you know that you heal. Or number 3, but all through the life experiencing mean lots of suffering. Maybe she's got kids along the way. Maybe, I'm not guarantee that you're going to be able to heal from that. See case scenario number 1, right? And case scenario number 3, she can come, for example, to see me and we can deprogram those negative programming that are not serving you. It's kind of, we all have experienced that our mind is working against us. You say, why are we saying that? Why are we doing that? Why are we still in that relationship? And why? Because of those programming. So it's kind of like what I want, the big statement that I want to make here, it's this. It's our past are running us. We are stuck in the past. Our trauma, our challenges, our things like that, we are stuck in the past. The best way I can describe it, it's like, let's pretend I'm a military guy and I pull my revolver and pull the trigger and I kill my best friend by accident. I came back to the US and I'm a mess. I'm diagnosed with PTSD, right? I mean, I've got nightmare of, doing, the thing over and over again. And probably, I divorced my wife and I'm homeless like so many Vietnam veterans have been. And my health goes down the drain. I numb myself, with legal and illegal drugs and all that, right? So do that. And so what's the problem? It's still there's a part of my soul that is still stuck pulling that trigger. I call that the past you. So we want to bring back that past you, right? Like that to the present. So basically the big statement is the past are dictating your present and molding your future.
Yeah. Beautifully said. Thank you. And I can only imagine that you are very, very encouraging to work with because you're not in any way, you're not being critical of our tendency to repeat these ridiculous mistakes.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
You've got a lot
of the same around. I know.
You know what I mean? It's like you've got this humor around it, which is, I think, it's very helpful because I think sometimes when we hear these things about being programmed or repeating patterns and things like that, often the next thing we do in our mind is to beat ourselves up for that. So
Because
I
we
can
don't
imagine.
understand, because we don't understand where it's coming from.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we don't understand the cause of the problem.
Yeah.
You see, that's why it's so fundamental. I always come back to rules, it's the law of cause and effect, right? The cause and consequences, like as I tell my 8 years old son now. So yeah, because it's either we don't understand what's causing it or we don't know how to fix it. It can be both, quite frankly.
Yeah. Wow. So this is way beyond being a chiropractor, isn't it? This
Oh
is
yeah.
to a whole other level of working with people. And do you love it, working with people?
Oh, I'm wired for that. Just- I'm passionate about it. It's just when you can help somebody, and okay, there's a business aspect, of course, because it's a business, right? But when they genuinely thank you, right? There's no way I can burn out again. Nowhere, because I'm like bathing in what I'm supposed to do every day. So yeah, it's not even a question. Yeah.
Wonderful. So how do people work with you? Do you work with people in person, online, in groups, solo? How are you available to people to work with?
Well, because you are the one doing the healing. That's why you are so powerful, right? By the way, let's to bring back a conversation to where we started, right? We are so powerful because we're using only 5 to 10% our mind instead of so imagine when you're using 100% of your mind. So I always hear people, you become supernatural, you got superpower. They always been there. They always been there. We are born like this. We are born like this. So like if I may zoom out, because that's gonna I think the people are gonna appreciate that. So let's zoom out and visualize the sun, right? And the sun is always there and shining. And a spark of the sun or a ray of the sun is your spirit. And this is what we call non-duality, right? So it means there's no judgment. Some people will say, oh, it's pure love, but it's all there is and has ever been, right? And after you've got the sky, and after you've got Catherine and Alain as the physical bodies, right? And there's cloud in the sky. And some people will got so many clouds, quite frankly, that they will say, the sun doesn't exist. I never seen the sun. It doesn't exist. So what are those clouds? Those clouds are your blocks, are your limiting belief. So when you start to remove limiting belief, now, wow, you can feel the warmth of the sun. You can have a glimpse on the sun. You say, oh, it exists, right? And after you get rid more limiting belief, right? And after what happened, you are more connected to your spirit, right? And after you awaken at the idea, because I truly believe what awakening is about, is to awakening at the idea and concept and to experience it that you are not only 5 or 10% of your mind, not only your self-identity, but you're much more than that. You are spirit living a physical experience.
Beautiful. So beautiful. While you were talking, I remembered something I saw the other day that you reminded me of. I was outside in the garden and the sky was covered in thick grey clouds, so you couldn't see the sun. And then I noticed that in one area of the sky, that section of clouds was lighter and brighter. And it was like this bright patch in the clouds. And that's obviously where the sun was. And there was this moment of realizing the sun was really there, even though the clouds were there. And I remember noticing that felt like a really significant experience in that moment. And you've just recalled it to me in the way you just described that moment of realizing the sun is out there. You just can't see it because of everything that's in the way. In one thing I used to work with, we used to refer to it as layers of peanut butter on top of your connection with your infinite power, which is a really nice image, isn't it? You're fighting through these layers of sticky.
Well, I don't like peanut butter. Sell almond butter. Almond butter will work for me.
I like peanut butter, but the idea of trying to claw your way through it is not so great. Wonderful. So your clients must get some fantastic results working with you.
Well, because, when you talk about limiting belief and you Google it, basically, what you hear is like, oh, not being good enough, or I'm too old to do this. That's not what I mean, of course, I'm talking about that, but it's so much more. That's why I do have free programs. So you can go to the mindclearing.com, right? And because of, if they mention your Truth and Transcendence podcast, Catherine, they will get 20% of treatments, right? Because, we can talk about that forever, right? But until you experience it, experience is true knowledge, right? And so until you experience it, you will really, truly comprehend what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So that's number one. Number two, if you want to learn it for yourself, or if you are a coach and health professional that really want to go deep, right? If you want to keep your patient forever, that's fine. You do your thing, right? But it's like people who are motivated really to not only have self-transformation, because it comes with it, right? You have to do willing to want that for yourself in order to want that for your patient, of course. And so you can learn that technique and help so many people. At so many different levels. There's the basic program of the mind clearing, that's number one. Number two is called the body clearing. So in this, we treat pain. So do you think we can treat neck pain and low back pain by clearing your mind? You bet you. I do that every day. 70 to 80% of the people within 2 treatments, the pain will go away and never come back. Because it's a program. We delete the program, we download a new one, and after we want to make sure we create that program, that we create that into your life, right? And so that's the 3 step of the mind clearing I just described. So body clearing, it's about getting rid of pain, symptom, inflammation in your body, right? And after the goal and success clearing, is to reach your goal. I mean, we're going to, like when you do goal setting, you're going to use only 5 or 10% of your mind power. Hey, subconscious mind, please come and help me. And so I created the quantum transformation loop, right, to make sure that step by step we can reach our goal, and there's nothing in between, no limiting belief, no mind obstacle or challenges, obstacle basically, that can prevent us to reach our goal. And so if you get the big package, you will have 50% off, mentioned in your podcast.
How fantastic. So they can have a treatment from you or a series of treatments. They can go into it more deeply. They can learn how to actually work with clients themselves as well. Incredible. You are providing a gift to the world, which is incredible.
Because, it's empowering you. It's empowering you. You see, that's the thing. Because the way you do that, maybe we don't have enough time, but the way you do that, it's visualization. Because what you remember of a dream, which is a dream come from the subconscious mind, is a picture. So I will tell you, if you got pain in your neck, if you had that forever, it comes back, blah, blah, blah. So I will say, okay, visualize a picture in which you've got neck pain. It's bad, right? So that's your limiting belief. This is it. That's your negative picture. And after I say, so we'll delete that program, right? It's like a computer. You have program, you don't like it. You're going to delete it and customize deleting. That's why I'm helping you. I'm just guiding you. That's it. That's coming from your own mind, right? And after number 2, I'll say visualize the opposite of that picture, and we download that program because that's your empowering belief. Make sure you love that picture, right? Boom, it goes into your subconscious mind to replace it. And after the creation, it's another program that we customize to you, and we send that.
Yes.
But you're the one who's sending the program.
Yes.
I'm just guiding you. And that's what the gift is.
Yes. So you are actually consciously reprogramming yourself, which is
exactly.
I love it. How wonderful. But I agree.
Amazing.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. We've all got so much more power than we realize we have. And we live in a culture, like I said at the beginning, like the culture I grew up in. No, you don't say you're powerful. That's rude. You can't do that. And what do you think about this idea that some people are afraid to connect with their own power? Do you come across that?
Well, yes, and mainly some people who are what I call in a victim mode, right? I've seen that on my dad. Again, he taught me so much, that guy. He just taught me so much. Because he was sick at 40 years old and never recovered, right? He was literally puking life after each meal, right? And anyway, so, but when people will call him, they will say, "Hey, Jean, you doing?" Meanings how your disease is, right? So after he identifies himself as being sick, so he will get the attention, the love, because he's sick. So subconsciously, right? Well, if you're not sick, you're not going to get the attention. So why not being sick, right? And that's after you are on a victim mode and you caught up on the subconscious stress loop. That's how I describe them. And you just get caught up on that and you never got out of it, right? And so that's why when I got sick and all that in my life, I've never been on victim mode. I always say, God, how long is it going to take? So it took quite a bit. But anyway, so but yeah, so that's why if you're on a victim mode, that's because let's pretend you have been sick for a long time and nobody can find a solution for your problem, right? So do you think it's going to affect your mind? Of course. Of course, you're going to start to doubt yourself, and you're going to lose your confidence, and you say, "Well, nobody can fix me, so there's something wrong with me, right?" No, it's just they don't know what's causing it. They don't know how to fix it. That's it.
Yeah.
And if there's something wrong with you, but it's not your fault. It's the way you have been programmed. So the good news, when you can get programmed, you can get deprogrammed. And that's what the mind clearing is about.
Yeah. Amazing. So some people will be listening to this and thinking, this sounds amazing. I'm going to go to Alain's website and have a look and check in with this and just see where that takes me. Some people may be listening to this and feeling, this sounds very intriguing, but I'm hesitant to go and check Alain's website. I just want to see if I can just try to engage with this a little bit before I do that. Is there anything you would like to say to those people?
Well, it's like when you've got the knowledge, right? And you've got a ton of knowledge, you go to my website, I go even deeper, if you want, I mean, if it's possible, because doctor means teacher. So in my book, it's very important to teach, right? But again, you can do that for the rest of your life, right? And so if I want to learn how to swim, if I never got into the water, it's not going to happen, right? And so, just listen to your intuition. That's what I do, because the intuition is the wisdom of your subconscious mind. So just listen to the intuition, right? And try it once. What do you have to lose, really, I mean, you try it twice for a negative thought that has been owning you for decades, maybe, for like some emotion that has been there forever, for like behavior that you're tired of having, for like a pain or a disease or chronic disease that you had forever. Nobody can help you. It's because they didn't find what's causing your problem and they don't know how to fix it. And when I see people, I treat, obviously, you ask me how I treat people, well, obviously online, right? Because they're doing the work, right? I'm just guiding them, right? Basically, like I read on your bio, I'm the facilitator. I love that word. I'm the originator of the technique and the facilitator, right? And so, yeah, basically, we just try it. Or you can live in a world of fantasy and what if and things like that. Because you see, there's something that is very important, that we are spiritual beings, of course, but we have to experience things, right? If you you have to experience things in that world, right? In that physical world, right? And so if you don't take action, you don't experience nothing. It's a fantasy in your head. So be it, right? If it's and so even this can be treated for, right? That's why it's important to have your thought, your emotion, and your behavior align, and that's what mind clearing is about.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. I love it. I think that's so valuable, because I think sometimes we can get stuck in a loop of, well, maybe I'll try something out, but first I want to sort of understand it. Well, of course, we can't understand it until we try it. So we end up stuck in a loop. I had somebody recently say, Catherine, I really want to come to one of your workshops, but I just want to kind of understand it first. And I said, don't hold your breath. It's not going to happen. He said, well,
So the thing, the thing with understanding is like we have been taught we are stuck in our heads. We're too much in our head, right? And we're being taught to use only an analytical, our left brain, right? An analytical mind. And so keep in mind, if you have been listening to that podcast, right? Keep in mind that it's only 5 or 10% of your mind. Right, the problem what we're having, if I want to zoom out and have a big picture, if you allow me, so will be that we've got a problem, right? So we have been told that we need to be good problem solver, right? So you've got a problem, which is not a positive thing, by the way. It's a freaking problem. I'm sorry, but it's a freaking problem. So you've got a problem. So we resolve a problem, and after, well, there's another problem that we need to resolve and resolve. So that's why all the energy of the body goes to our head. That's a problem, because the heart is shut down by our trauma, by our challenges, by the way that we need to perform with our head all the time. And after, so what's happening? When you get rid of some limiting beliefs, check the door, remember your sky now, clear up and get rid of that. So now you become more open-minded. So what does it mean for that? It means that, well, if I've got a problem, sometimes I don't see any solution, if I'm very close-minded, or sometimes I see only one solution. When you are open-minded, now you're open to a broader possibility, right? More possibility. When you do that, you've got more peace of mind. So there's less energy going into your head, right? So more energy now can go, and your heart can open up like a flower, right? Just can open up, right? And so here's the way it works. So open mind, open heart, and in your belly, it's called open will, the will to take action, right? So your behavior, your action. So head, heart, and this is called the hara, which in Japanese, it means belly, right? That's one of the books that Chinese doctor gave me, by the way, to read about. That's crazy. And so what do you want to do? So how do you make a decision in life? How we are supposed, when we are in our full power, to make decision in life, not only with our head. So you open your mind, open will. So I've got this problem. So I see all the possibility. Because I've got peace of mind, I can see with more clarity and focus, right? So I'm going to follow the heart, and I'm going to take action with my belly. So hear me out. Expression in English: peace of mind, masculine. Follow your heart, obviously feminine. What we create is a combination of masculine and feminine, the sperm and the ovum. It happens in the belly, right? You're a woman, you know better than I do, right? So it happens in the belly, right? So feminine and masculine from the behavior and taking action, the hara. So it goes like this. Catherine had the gut feeling that she will meet lots of interesting people doing podcasts. Feminine. Catherine didn't think twice. She had the gut to do it right away and start a podcast. Masculine energy. You see, that's how we create the combination of the masculine and feminine, meaning your head is the how, your heart is the why, and your belly is what you created.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful way of describing it. And you're absolutely right in my actual case. My intuition did say, it didn't actually say I'll meet lots of interesting people. Initially it said it will be a channel for my voice, which is what I needed to begin with. Be a channel for my voice. And then you're right, I did then switch to how the hell am I going to do it? And one of the first bits of wisdom I heard from another podcaster was start before you're ready. So I started before I was ready, because they said, if you don't, you will never start. And then you're absolutely right. Something was created, which then feeds the masculine and the feminine aspects, actually, very, very powerfully. And it seems to have its own natural. But something as well that seems to be implied by what you're saying, or maybe it's explicit, is this, like, the combination of the masculine and the feminine is a natural thing. And it always creates something way more than the thinking mind could have envisaged or imagined.
It's a universal law. That's a vibration because, if I want to go deeper, everything is vibration in life. We just cannot, we don't have the senses to see that, right? So we vibrate. So at the beginning is the head, right? When you see the wave, at the beginning of the wave, what we call positive and negative, right? The positive is the head. At the intersection, at the center of everything is your heart. And after the negative, which is not a judgment, it's just positive and negative. That's the way it is, no judgment. And which is the creation. So let's pretend there's light, center, and darkness, right? So there's a tree. The tree make a fruit. The fruits go down the darkness to get all the minerals and create the other tree, and after go to the light. And so this is it.
Yeah, like the yin and the yang in Chinese medicine. Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
Alain, I could very happily talk to you for hours, but unfortunately, we don't have time to do that.
I know. I know.
I've just got a couple of questions I want to ask you before we wind up. One of them is, in the world at the moment, there's all sorts of interesting things going on, some of which we like and some which we don't like, and we have different ideas. Within that context, there are a lot of people trying to be part of the solution. There are people who are trying to lead others in a helpful way and guide people and support people. And some of those people tune into this podcast because they find it helpful for them. Is there something you'd like to say specifically to those sorts of people who are trying to help others in relation to some of what we've been talking about?
Well, indirectly, I'm going to tell them something. And I think like in humanity in general, we are on a crossroad. So if either we go with the technocracy and the transhumanism and have things inside of us controlling us through AI. So if it's your choice, that's your choice. So be it. But I think there's another way to become even more a human being. Use our power that no computer can. Consciousness. How can they cannot compete with that? It's not possible. And so that's why I think that specifically for myself, I think that's why this technique has been passed on to me, just to make sure that we can connect even more to our spirit, like I explained previously. And like that, we can escape that futuristic world that's pretty dark for me. It's not, I don't want to be a part of it. I would rather die, it doesn't really matter. I'm not afraid. But I'm thinking about the next generation. I'm thinking about my 8 years old. I'm thinking about the people that I loved. And so I think that's why, such a technique, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, but such technique that is going to come through to reconnect to our spirit and be able to do that by ourselves, and also to be able to help over deeper.
Yeah, thank you. Beautiful. So, Alain, we've talked about a lot today, which we both
did
before we started that we would go in all directions. Has there been a favorite part of our conversation for you today?
The favorite part, that's quite frankly, it's the way you're reacting to things, because that's so important for me to get some feedback, but also the enthusiasm. And I can see, when I was saying different things, the way your body language and your smile reacted, that is actually very radiating and contagious. So thank you for that. That's really, yeah. But to me, it all comes down to the beginning, how powerful we are.
Yeah,
Sure.
powerful we are. Thank you so much. And would you like to, some guests like to do this, would you like to leave the listeners with some sort of reflection question that they can contemplate in the coming week that relates back to what we've been talking about and that might help them to connect with more deeply with what we've been talking about today?
The reflection part comes down to this, you have no idea how powerful you are. And when you start to get into your power, right? It's because even for me, like when I started to learn to start to do Woo's technique and things like that, I was at this level and I say, how am I going to explain that to people? I mean, seriously, I had no idea, sweetie. I had no zero idea. Say, oh my goodness, I'm going to explain that. And after let's pretend the knowledge that I had to acquire in order to be able to talk to you like I'm talking to you now was there, and I was here. So what I did more treatments. So I raised my vibration again and again. And after finally I could resonate, with different knowledge, right? That I couldn't access before. So that's why you have no idea how powerful I probably still have no idea how powerful I am, but I know that where the trajectory is and what to do about it, right? And so when imagine if 100% spirit, I mean, it's ridiculous. It just so, yes, you just reflect. If you think that, yeah, we're so powerful. And one more thing that I want to say is like, if you think that you're already there, that's when you stop stopping learning. That's when it's over, the party is over. Still have the spirit of a student. Still have the innocence in your heart of a child, and that's how, I'm 62 years old, I still kick some butt, literally. I'm doing martial arts. So anyway, yeah. So, and don't lose the zest of life, that passion, that fire that's been there. And if you don't have it, you can get it back. Or if you never have it, knows is there like the sun is always there.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Alain. It's been such a joy having you on the show
Oh, me too.
today. So, and to everyone watching and listening, thank you so much for being with us on this conversation. That's all for Truth and Transcendence today. And you can find our other episodes on truthandtranscendence.com. Please do give us a thumbs up, a 5-star rating, and share with your friends. And do go and check out Alain's website. Nothing bad will happen. Go to themindclearing.com because his work is just so liberating and empowering. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. And Alain Salas, thank you again so much.
Thank you so much. Au revoir et à bientôt.
I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. It really helps if you give a thumbs up, a 5-star rating, a review, and share with your friends. If you're looking for transformational coaching or an intensive transformational weekend workshop experience, I can help with that. You can actually help the show by making a donation. Until next time, take care.